Good morning, everyone.
Good morning, Rabbi.
Good morning, Rabbi.
Chanukah Sameach, Happy Chanukah, Freilich and Chanukah. We are learning Mishna Yoma, Parakeh, chapter 5. And now we are on Mishnah Daled, Mishnah 4. Before we begin today's learning, today's day of learning has been sponsored by Chayesara Palak to commemorate the yard site of her grandfather, Reuben Menachem Mendel, Ben Shmuel Halevi. Hashem Hashem and Aliyah.
Amen.
Okay, now, previous Mishnah told us what he did, what the Kohen Gadol did with the blood of the par, of the cow. Now we're going to go to the next animal which he dealt with, which was the sawyer, the goat. The goat that was slaughtered as a chatas, as a sin offering to Hashem. And a lot of what we're going to read here is a repeat of what we had in yesterday's Mishnah. Heviu loy es hasoyer. Okay, they brought him the goat. Shchatai. Now, where was this goat until now? Until now, this goat was actually standing. It was standing by the eastern gate of the courtyard. That's the opposite end of the courtyard. That's where it originally started from. That's where it was standing. Now that it was time to deal with it, they brought it now to stand in between the altar and the antechamber of the Beis Hamikdash. Hold on one second. Okay, now, so they brought him. So now they brought the goat to the goat. That's going to be made as a carbon. They brought him the goat, and now, like I say, they were standing between the mizbeach, the altar, and the antechamber of the Beis Hamikdash. Shchatai, he slaughtered it. The kibo b'mizrek asdamai, and he caught the blood. He caught the blood in a bowl. He did that. And if you remember the previous time he had to do that, we say that he started the shechita. He did the shechita, the majority of what has to be cut. And somebody else finished it. And he had to go ahead and catch the blood that was going to be sprinkled. Then, after he caught the blood, he entered to where he had entered, again to the Kodesh HaKadosh, with the Holy of Holies. And he stood where he stood, in between the poles. Vehiza mimenu, and he then sprinkled from it, achas lamaila, one upward, v'sheva lamata, and 7 downward. His intention was not to sprinkle who above or below, meaning not to sprinkle it enough that it would hit the top of the ark cover of the kapeiros, or below it, meaning in the thickness of it. There was no intention to actually get the blood to that far, Ela Kamatzlif, but he did it like someone that's administering lashes, in which he did the first sprinkling. We said he did it upward. His palm was up, and he sprinkled upward, but he landed the furthest from him. And then the next 7, which were the downward ones, where each one was closer and closer and closer until there was a line of 8 spots of blood between him and the ark. The Kacha Yamaina. And as he did the sprinkling, which again we had previously, each time he sprinkled, he dipped his finger into the blood. The kacha yamayna, this is how he counted. When he did the 1 upward, achas, he said 1. Then when he began the 7 below, he said achas va'achas, 1 and 1, achas ushtayim, 1 and 2, achas v'shalish, 1 and 3, achas v'arba, 1 and 4, achas v'chamesh, 1 and 5, achas v'sheish, 1 and 6, achas v'sheva, and 1 and 7. Okay, now that was that. Yatsa, then he walked out, meaning he left the Kodesh HaKadoshim. V'hineichai al kan hazav hasheni shoy b'hechol, and he put the remainder of the blood on the second golden stool that was in the Heichal, in the sanctuary in the Kodesh. We've said before there was a golden stool which he put the remainder of the cow blood on, and now we're saying there was a second stool upon which he put the remainder of the goat blood. Rabbi Yehuda says, there were no 2 stools, there was 1. What you did was, you put the cow blood down, and then, when it came time, what did you do? What you did then is, meaning the bowl with the cow blood was sitting on the stool. Rabbi Yehuda says, what you did then was, You took the cow blood off the stool and you put the goat blood on the stool, because basically you have to now take the cow blood anyway to use it. So there's a question whether 2 stools or 1 stool. But at the end of the day, after he went ahead and he sprinkled the goat blood, he put the goat blood down. Either it was on a second stool, according to the Tanna Kama, or in play and on the same place where the cow blood was, because now he took the cow blood. But either way, he was now taking the cow blood, the hiza mimenu, and he sprinkled from it, ala pareiches shekeneged ha'aron mibachutz, on or toward the curtain that was in the area opposite the ark from the outside. It means now he was standing on the outside. He was standing outside of the Kodesh HaKadoshim. He was facing the curtain, and now he had to sprinkle the blood towards the area of the curtain that was opposite the Aron, right? The curtain spread the whole way along, right? He sprinkled it towards the area that was opposite the ark. Bachutz means he's not standing in the Holy of Holies doing this. He's standing outside of it, okay? Vehiza mimenu ala parecha shegeneged ha'aron mibachutz, and he sprinkled from it on the curtain opposite the area of the ark from the outside. Achas lamayla b'sheva lamata, 1 upwards, 7 downwards. His intention was not to sprinkle that it should reach above or below, meaning it should reach the actual curtain above and the curtain below. Again, it was like the person administering the lashes, 1 upward that landed the farthest, but not on the curtain, just farthest away from him. And then the next 7 were consecutively closer. And again, when he sprinkled, this is how he counted. Achas, 1, that was for upward. Then for the first downward, achas v'achas, 1 and 1, achas v'shnayim, 1 and 2, achas v'shalosh, 1 and 3, achas v'yarba, 1 and 4, achas v'chamish, 1 and 5, achas v'sheish, 1 and 6, achas v'sheva, 1 and 7. Okay, now, not al dam hasoyer, v'niach dam hapar. He then took the blood of the goat and he put down the blood of the cow. Now, this seems to be sounding, it's continuing with Rabbi Yehuda's opinion. There's only 1 stool. There's only one stand. So now you take the blood of the soyer that was on the stool, and now you put down the blood of the cow. According to the first opinion, you seemingly did the same thing. It just was that now you put down the blood of the cow on its stool, and you took the one that had the blood of the goat. The hiza mimeno ala pareiches did the same thing. He sprinkled from it towards the curtain, shegeneged ha'aron, opposite the area of the ark, yibachutz, from the outside, meaning not doing this in the Holy of Holies, but rather outside of it. Achas lamayla v'sheva lamata, 1 upward, 7 downward. Miskaven lahazos, loy lamavlo lamata. His intention was not to sprinkle in a way that it would actually hit the upper part of the curtain or the lower part. Ela kamatzlif again, but rather like someone administering lashes, where the sprinkling was not meant to land on the pareiches, on the curtain, but rather, the first one is the furthest, and then consecutively down 7 times closer to him. The kacha yamayna, and this is how he counted. Achas, 1. Achas v'achas, meaning the 1 upward, he said 1. Achas v'achas, the first of the downwards, he said 1 and 1. Achas v'shtayim, 1 and 2. Achas v'shalosh, 1 and 3. Achas v'yarba, 1 and 4. Achas v'chamish, 1 and 5. Achas v'sheish, 1 and 6. Achas v'sheva, 1 and 7. Okay, that is how now. So he sprinkled both the cow blood and the goat blood towards the parochos, towards the curtain. Now, what did he do? Eira dam hapar l'sayich dam hasoyer. So now we had the 2 basins, right? One had the blood of the cow, one had the blood of the goat. He poured the blood of the cow into the blood of the goat. And then he poured the full one into the empty one. So you first had the cow blood into the goat blood, and then both of them, which were then poured into the empty one, meaning to the one that used to have the cow blood. All this was done in order to mix it well. Have a wonderful day, and a Freilich and Chanukah.
Thank you, Rabbi.